How's it going? Josh Hensing here with another episode of Soft Wash Science, 616clean.com. Checking in with you guys. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different. It's going to be mainly for you guys out there in the detail industry, but also us guys out there doing the soft washing, and really your do-it-yourselfer and those guys in the garage that are just cleaning their vehicles and keeping them clean. It's raining out, so I just got home. Took my brand new 2020 GMC into the dealership and just did the first maintenance with it. So gonna get home now, obviously, and I'm worried about water spotting on the vehicle, and that's what I want to talk about today. So what I have here, I just have a small 3/8 line, and really when you get home like this and you have a little rainwater on there, you want to rinse your vehicle off. Well, guys tend to really want to look to, a power washer having like a bulk rinse, which is fine. Like when you're washing the vehicle, you're spraying it off as far as getting the dirt off. And I can talk a little bit more about that later. But the key with some of these coatings and waxes is everybody wants to see like a sheeting effect. So you're gonna see there's not a ton of flow out of here, but you'll see obviously it's sheeting nice. So everybody wants to see these water beads. You see all these water beads? But what guys do is they'll take their power washer or hose and they'll just, like so, and they just leave it. Well, what you really want to do on your final rinse, because this deionized water can cost you money, or even the RO water, it takes time to make if it's RO, or it costs you money if it's DI, depending on your water quality, how much time you get out, especially if you're one of those guys using like a CR spotless system. The key is you don't need a lot of flow. Like that's not a bunch of flow. I'm only running maybe a gallon and a half a minute or whatever, maybe two. But when you do a final rinse, what I like to do for a true spot-free rinse, you don't want those little water droplets everywhere. So what you want to do is come like this. See how that sheets? Everybody wants it to bead up. They talk about the beading and the water beading. When a surface is extremely hydrophobic, and you hear that a ton, you hear that word hydrophobic in the detailing industry with the ceramic coatings and the waxes and all the new hybrid stuff out there. Even talking about your brand new stuff, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the new coatings that are going, it's the ceramic with the graphene in it, the graphene coatings. The graphenes are a little bit better. They're definitely extremely hydrophobic, but they act a little bit different with the water sheeting, I guess. So basically, with the hydrophobic, if I just spray that surface like this, the truck's not clean, so it's not going to show it as good, but it's decent. So if I just spray it like that, anywhere it beads up, that could be a potential water spot on the vehicle. If you go like this on your final rinse, you're going to save water, you're going to save drying time if you do need to have it completely 100% dry. Say you're putting a coating on, or you're going to buff it or whatever. Otherwise, you can just leave it air dry in this method, but you're going to get better results because the hydrophobic properties keep water on there. They want water to bunch in areas, and that's not really what you want in a rinse. I can rinse these areas. Like if this is 100% clean, it's going to be better. But you see how it pulls the water with it. So you're trying to counteract the hydrophobic properties because you want the water to gather with itself, so you're left with almost 100% dry surface. That's going to save you water, and then on your final rinse, that's going to give you the ability to have a vehicle that really has no spots on it, not even on, you know, the microscopic level. And so you're coating ready in a lot of cases if you washed it right and it's all prepped right. But that's really what you're going for. You don't want that, you know, guys just want to spray their vehicle off like this because they don't know any better and they think that water beading is good. Well, the water beading is only good when it comes to, you know, when it's raining and stuff like that. With the rinsing process, using the deionized water, that's not what you're looking for. You don't want that water all over the vehicle. You want it to gather so you're left with a dry surface. So same water, same hose, everything. You look at this area, it's almost dry. Whereas if you look at this area right here that was sprayed, it's wet. I mean, I can give you guys a close-up on that. Sorry, it's a little tough. So you got areas like this. You know, on the hood. On the hood is a little bit tougher. You know, you almost have to get up here like this. But you see it sheet there? See the difference? That's what I'm talking about. That's same here. You can just throw it on there like so. And then you got the bedside. So what you want to do, essentially, when you're doing the final rinse in your vehicle, just come like this. See it all running off there? See, I'm saving a lot of water because I don't have a ton of flow. And you can throw a bunch in here on those. And then you almost want to let, on like areas like that, you see the water is dripping a little bit there? Those are the areas where you, when you come back around, you just do that. See, I pull all that water off there. A little bit there. I'll pull it right off there. That's going to give you your spot-free rinse. I don't care what anybody tells you. When you do a rinse on a vehicle and then you dry it, yeah, you can air dry it. That works. But you still want to air dry it with purified water on it because you're just accelerating the dirty particles and they're still going to show some spotting whether you see it or not. You know, this is guys going after that perfect finish or whatever. But yeah, you can see it still. See how it's just still sheeting itself off? That's what you want. That's what you're looking for. You're trying to counteract the hydrophobic properties of these coatings. It's like when you do window cleaning. Guys that are in the window cleaning industry understand you got a window that's hydrophobic, it's got dirt and grime on it, and you're washing it with just water. When you wash that surface, you want it to sheet all in one big sheet. That way it pulls all that junk off the window. You know, you want, same with your vehicle, you want it to pull those impurities off your paint. The advantage when you're done is you're left with a 100% clean surface, and the key with it is it's no static. There's actually no static on your surface. When you use those top coats or this and that, it doesn't matter. When you touch a surface with a rag, you create static electricity. You don't want that. You don't want any static on your vehicle. You don't need to put a top coat on it every time or some cleaner on it every single time that you go to dry your vehicle. There's no need, especially if you're applying all these coatings. If you're coatings in your products are good on your vehicle and you're in the in-between wash and it's not necessary, then don't do that. Just use this method. That way you're left with the best finish possible, and you lessen the chances of any contaminants being in a rag and creating any scratching. The more you touch your vehicle with something, the more you open it up to scratching of some sort, even if you follow every procedure. I mean, when they package those rags, there could be something in there you don't know. So that's kind of the gist of it. I want to talk about my purified water system. I talked about this in another video. This is how I have it. So I go in this port here. I got 3 different ports here. I have one of my power washers. I have my DI port, and then I have my other port for the other power washer and the 12 volt pumps. And then this is just what I have at home. I just put a ball valve on here so I can hit this ball valve like so. And then these are full flow quick connect. Got a little pressure on it. I have check valves on these. So I just disconnect that, and then I can connect it to there, so it makes it easy switch. So I can connect my flow into my other power washer. I can go into my deionized water system, and then on the bottom here I just have an extra port if I want to move that. So I sometimes will run 2 feeds. I've ran 3 before. I got another quick connect, but that's how I do it. And these things get used heavy. I'm using them, to run a business, so they get beat up. Employees are using them, and they've been through 2 full seasons through the trenches. So you buy the little silicone that they sell, and you silicone those O-rings up, and then get a couple of those O-rings too. Those are a special size, so you almost have to order them from them. You could measure them and order some from McMaster-Carr, I'm sure, and probably get a more quality one that would last you longer, but they're cheap enough that I just I haven't messed with it. So and then when I feed my water in through that port, it goes in through here, and what it does is it comes into this filter. This is a 3M monobrain carbon filter, so that takes all your chlorine, any essentially any sodium hypochlorite that would be in the city water or any water sources, or in iron, and just all the junk. It does the bulk of the work. It's your pre-filter. And then from there I'm going into one of these resin tanks. So it goes from here, comes over and goes into this resin tank, and then out of this resin tank it goes into this one, and then up to this valve here. And then with this valve I can either select my hose reel that's the hose I was using. That's 376 feet of 3/8 line, nice Goodyear hose, and I use that to power these brushes for window cleaning. I got a couple brushes, like 4 or 5 different brushes and 3 different pulls, but that's how I do the window cleaning. And then also the other way, when I switch this valve here, when I turn this valve the other way, it's going to take this line, and this line goes through the ceiling, and it comes over and it goes into this tank right here, and it's on, let's see, it comes into this side. This is my other fresh water intake if I was just going to take regular water in. But this is the one that runs from the filters, and then that has a float valve. Both of them have float valves. And then I seal the tank. You see the tank sealed off there. And I actually have it sealed, and then that's a 2 micron air filter. So that water, if I fill it with deionized water, it's not affected by the open air, because the air's getting filtered too. So it lets the tank breathe really nice, and then it's always clean. It stays good for a while. And then what I can do when that's full, and that'll continue to feed as I take water from there, but this pressure washer right here can then disperse that deionized water, and then that's got a 250 foot line, and let's see, yeah, I have a different gas tank on it, so I can run it for quite a while, so it just bypasses the other fuel tank. It's key start, and then I wish it was remote start. I'm sure I could put one on. And then I have a chemical injector here that I can turn on and off, so you could use whatever chemicals you'd want. You could use more than one. You can put those in a remote system if you wanted. Just depends on what work you're doing and what you need. And then shortly here, and that'll be probably my next video, I'm going to be talking about a remote bypass system that allows you to press a remote and remotely turn on and off a bypass system, which is something that I've been talking about for a couple years now, and just really kind of made the heading on that and how it should be done, and chatted a lot about it with the other guy, and now it's going to exist, and I'm going to have one of the first ones. So tune in next time to the next video, and we're going to be talking about remote bypass, and we're going to be using the existing valves that we already have, and it's going to be done right with the right interface, nice remote, and I can talk more about it when I get it, but it won't be long, and I'm going to be testing that and using it, and you're going to see the first ever remote bypass system with the DN10 done right, and it works every time, I hope. So looking forward to that, and I'll talk to you more about that next time. But in the meantime, check out flowpro.solutions.com, and that'll have some more information on there and send you some newsletters when it comes available to the public. So looking forward to it. Hopefully you are too. This is Josh Insing with 616clean.com, bringing you another episode of Soft Wash Science.